All right, guys, we are back with the second round of Top Cut, top four, and we'll be jumping into that very shortly. The players are just getting ready. How are we feeling now, Max?
Pretty good. Our little counters here were a bit off skew and I was a bit annoyed by that. But besides that, I'm extremely excited to see what we're going to see here in top four. I've had a quick look at the deck list and we will see a white versus a purple game. So we'll see whether white is able to control purple's board or whether we're going to see the theme of purple just being a bit too fast for white in these situations.
Lovely. We did see last game with a white/purple deck going into a pure purple deck, and it was a pretty crazy game. We did see the Chi did top deck his basic out to win game one and just smashed through it on game two with a bunch of attackers. So, I'm curious to see how this one will go.
Yeah, definitely. That was an extremely good game. And I hope we get just as good of a game in top four here. And I believe we do have two friends from Hong Kong playing against each other in this finals. So if you see a lot of laughing, a lot of fun, just expect it.
That'd be why, yeah. We do have Kun and Zhu who are playing each other. Couldn't tell you who on the left or right yet, but we'll find out later.
All right, it looks like we are getting ready to set up here to go. So we have Kwon on the left and Zhu on the right.
Beautiful. They do have some really nice life counters as well, or at least Zhu does. He's got a very nice gold-looking life counter.
Yes, I think we saw that on the last game we played. And as you love to see, Tyson, the classic table shuffling, the pile shuffling coming down here. And look how fast they're able to get through it.
Now, I still don't know why they do 10 piles, but, look, it's up to them. I do like to run the classic 7 shuffle with a 50-card deck because it does perfectly randomize the deck, but they're much better players than me, so they probably know more than I do.
Yes, indeed. They are better than you, Tyson.
They're better than you, Max.
Okay. I suppose I'll let that one go for now, but we will see a second pile shuffle coming down. But this is going to be an incredibly close game for top four. It'll be very excited to see how it ends up. And we will be having these players play for some amazing prizes today. So all these top four players have earned themselves the deck box, which is what they didn't have going into top 8. But the winner of this game will be top 2. They'll be able to play in the grand finals for $10,000, but they will also get that second place card as well as the other stuff. So the top 16 playmat, the finalist event pack, as well as that deck box I mentioned, and the secondary core case.
Which is absolutely amazing, that prizing there. And the first place prizing too is amazing, as we said earlier. But we will be having, obviously 2 friends from the same country playing each other, which will be a bit tough on them. Having to knock one of your friends out of a top 4 game is probably one of the hardest things you'd have to do as a player.
Yeah, most definitely. But I think it is all fun and games for them at this point to see a large number of them do so well in this tournament. It must be exciting to see all of their testing together pay off.
Definitely. I believe there is about 5 of these friends that are all playing each other in the top cut, which is a brilliant thing to see. So, it's awesome to know that they're all together and having a great time.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like they are just having a quick chat before we get started here. Both players have drawn their opening hands, so probably just double-checking who's going first, who's going second, and how we're going to start here. But not to go on top of those prizes I previously mentioned. For being in top 4, they both earned themselves $3,000. The winner will go into top 2 and get a minimum of $6,000 there.
Which is absolutely amazing. I know it is in USD. So converting that to Australian, you're going to get a fair bit more than what we've advertised. And the first place will be getting 10,000 USD, which roughly converts to about 14,500 Australian. So the amount of money that you'll be getting from this is incredible.
Yeah, and we do see the start of the game here. So Kwon went first. He was able to play that white Nexus down turn 1. And then we do see Tsu come down with that Dark Lancer Cavalier, which draws a card on play, which is such a strong offense. And we see Kwon set a burst card here. We will be playing the Buffalong Bill.
My favourite card,
I
the
think
bar for Longbill.
Yeah, I think Quan's the only player that we have had play it in the event so far, but it does give him a lot of value because when he blocks, he's able to bounce a 4 or less back to your opponent's hand.
Definitely. Now, we will try and get this commentary down as best as we can, but these players play so fast that sometimes you just cannot tell what they're doing. So
Yes, indeed. We do see the Camelot Knight come down, so just getting a bit more of a board presence here.
Especially chucking the Soul Core on there, he's able to, at least kill the Buffalo Bill if it does block.
Yep. And we see the second Lancer come down. Looks like we are going to look at our burst card, not use it though. And we have the attack here where Quan is going to take it and go down to, is that 3 he's gone down to now?
3 life, yes, with Zoo at 5 still, in a comfortable position with 3 cards on board.
Yes, this is definitely a situation we saw similarly to last game where we had Chi put Jack in a very tight position, just being able to go with a wide board so early. And I must assume that we have that absolute ice shield in Quan's life, but even then, Sue's going to be able to go relatively wide this turn.
Exactly, and with Sue having the 3 cards on field, and Quan only having the Buffalo Bill and the Elephant, it's going to be a bit of a tough place to get this game going.
Yes, indeed. It does look like we're just going to see a pass come down here from these 2 players.
Yeah, all the cores on the Elephant, why not?
Yep. One of the things that these players do is instead of leaving stuff in the refresh, they will just put everything on one of their spirits and just say, yep, I'm fine with this, and they'll pay it off the spirits. And we do just see the Burning Force come down to remove those 2 cards on the field, and we'll see that 1 core go on to the Forest Ice.
It looks like Quinn's just playing the control game right now. Just going to wait until he can clear the opponent's board and then try and swing in for game. Obviously, he would know that his opponent most likely would have an absolute ice shield in his burst, but, of course, he can't tell for certain.
Yeah, definitely. And just putting that 1 spirit on, the 1 core, sorry, on to the Nexus there just allows if one of Quan's spirits is destroyed, he is able to return a Nexus that Su plays.
Still checking the burst, wanted to make sure he got it put down right.
Yeah, we didn't see what he has there, so he's probably just forgotten what he has there as well. Or either that, or just continually just like, oh, am I going to do it? Am I going to do it?
Trying to psych his opponent out.
Yeah, definitely. And as friends, it's probably even funnier for these guys than it is for us. We do see one of the X-rare purple cards in Sue's hand, which is the one that has Blood Curse, which is a very strong card, especially in these control matchups.
It is a really, really good card. And from what I believe, Blood Curse, if they block, they do still take a life, right?
It is if the creature is destroyed, I believe, if the spirit is destroyed, they can instead place a core from your opponent's life into the void or reserve, and then you can also place 1 from the void onto this spirit to keep it alive. So it is an extremely strong effect.
Yes, definitely is.
We do see the suppression here in Quan's hand, able to go a little bit wider. We see the Star Bless draw come down to draw a couple extra cards. And that's one of the great things about these slower matchups, where you're just able to use these cards to draw and play a little bit slower because, my board is set the way it is. My opponent can't do anything about my board, so I'm going to do nothing.
And we're definitely seeing a very different playstyle from Quan here, who we didn't see from Chi last game, where Chi was sort of going a bit, sorry, not Chi, Jack was going sort of a bit more wide with white and purple, but with Quan just being mono white, it is going to be a bit of a more control game.
Yeah, definitely. One of the big differences you see between a mono list and that white-purple list that we saw Jack play is the white-purple list sometimes just has to play things for a higher cost because you don't get the continual cost reduction.
But thankfully with the elephants as well on field, you can try and bait them to be killed so you can get more cores.
Most definitely.
And Sue just passing here, just opting to keep his cards up for blockers.
Yeah, definitely. I love the good old draw pass.
I think definitely the reason why Sue wasn't going to attack with the Camelot Knight was he does have the Soul Core, and he knows that Quan can just go, all right, I'll block with my Elephant, and I'll draw 3, gain 3 back.
Definitely. It is a very interesting game at the moment where one of the big differences between Battle Spirits and other games is sometimes draw pass is actually the strategical correct move to make, whereas other games it generally signifies that you haven't seen many cards to do anything with. However, in Battle Spirits, it's just a I'm a psych you out. I'm a wait a turn.
Definitely, yeah. And you know that you typically can't die in one turn unless your opponent has the most insane hand imaginable. So you're always in a sort of comfortable position.
Yeah, and we do see another draw pass here, and it looks like we are going to see one of the white spirits. I can't remember the name of this spirit. However, it does have an effect where you cannot remove cores from your opponent's spirits that are so yeah. You cannot remove cores from your cores. Oh my gosh, I
Your
am
opponent can't
tired.
remove cores from your spirits. They have the soul core on it.
Thank
There
you,
you go.
Tyson. You have saved me there. A little bit of stuttering by my part.
And it also can't be removed. Its own, of course, it can't have its own cores removed as well by opponents.
Yep. And we will see an attack from Buffalo Bill here, which has 2 cores on it. And Quan will be able to restand all of these spirits at the end of the turn due to the level 2 effect on that
That's right.
Numa Guard.
We do see a couple of deadly balances in Su's hand, so Su will be able to just go, yep, cool, I'm going to block and possibly deadly balance, but no, he's just going to allow that to go through. I'm fairly certain we did see Su play the put the absolute ice shield in the burst area, but I guess he's just sort of opting to go. No, I'm going to leave it up for now and go from there.
We'll see another Camelot Knight come down from Su, and we will see all,
there we go. Yeah.
all the cores be removed outside of 1 from Quan's build.
Are we going to see the 6-cost dragon come down? I believe I see it in his hand. He'll be able to kill 2 cards, but is it worth it? Because he's going to allow his opponent to draw 6 cards and gain 6 cores.
Which is a massive turn of the tide, but it will still allow Su to build a little bit more of a board. And we're definitely deciding what we want to do here on Su's side. We will see one of those purple spirits that if it has the soul core on deletion, it will draw a card.
Definitely. And he doesn't want to have the soul cores on the Camelot Knights because he knows that he'll just block with the Mammoth and he will gain 3 cards and 3 cores.
Yeah, it is definitely that little bit of a double-edged sword here where you kind of want to keep your elephants alive. However, letting them die is nearly as strong.
Exactly. So these elephants are pretty much just going to stay on the board for the rest of the game until, Su is ready to go for game. Which it does look like we can be pretty soon. It's just a matter of, when.
We will see that pass here from Su.
Both players have a healthy hand size as well, which is something we haven't seen all day. A lot of the time, we've actually seen one player just dominating with their hand and the other player only having 1 or 2 in hand. But both players have a healthy hand and a healthy board state, which is great to see.
Yeah, we've definitely seen those draw passes kind of come down, which have been able to allow both these players to have big hands.
Right, and the Buffalo and Bill adding back that last card, and there we go, absolute ice shield popping out. I don't believe we see another one in the opponent's hand, but he may have drawn one for turn.
We will hopefully see very shortly, but he did have enough of these cores to pay for it, as they would have just been paid off like the Camelot Knights and those cards. And we see a 3rd Camelot Knight come down.
Now we aren't seeing, there we go, that's the Blood Curse one.
So this has the potential to be a very strong turn here for Su, as all of those Camelot Knights now have the ability to gain Blood Curse. So that Grand Underworld Trio Queen, if it has 1, it just has to be on the field. When one of your spirits with curse or blood curse reduces your opponent's life, it goes to the void instead of the reserve, which is such a strong effect. Additionally, if it's a level 2, which it is now with its... How many cores are on there, Tyson?
Cores.
Oh, it's got 5 cores, so it's 1 off being the level 6. But with those 3 cores, it has a blood curse. And then during your tap step, if it gets all 6 cores on there, it will have all your spirits with curse gain blood curse. Now, blood curse, for those of you who don't know, is an extremely strong keyword, which says when this spirit would be destroyed by your opponent, you may place 1 core from your opponent's life and 1 core from this spirit into their owner's trash to keep the spirit on the field refreshed.
Now, you could definitely have put 1 of the cores, the Soul Core and a Camelot Knight, and then taken 2 off of one of the other ones to give that one Blood Curse as well. But, it's sort of, do you want to do that? Probably not.
Yeah, definitely. It is a interesting position to be in. It looks like we only have 4 cores on it now. Is it 5? Is it still 5?
There's still 5.
Still 5, okay.
He has swung with a Camelot Knight, and Quinn has just decided to block with a Mammoth. But I'm wondering what we'll see going forward. Will the player end up attacking with his Blood Curse?
So there, it's a lot easier to see how many cores there when the cards aren't under it. But we'll just be waiting here for a little bit. But this is quite a developed board state. Both of these players have a lot of their strong cards on the field, and it looks like Buffalo Bill on block effect is just going to return the Camelot Knight to hand.
Exactly, which is a really handy effect.
Yeah, we will see the 8-drop swing in here, which will put the core into the trash instead of... Oh, sorry, into the void instead of into Quan's Reserve, which is such a strong effect.
And looks like he's done suppression and allowed Buffalo Bill to block it.
And we will see the block here from our Elephant.
Okay, so he didn't allow Buffalo Bill to block it, but he did just K the calls off of Buffalo Bill. There we go. Now, Sue's board is clear, and with an absolute ice shield drawn.
Looks like we completely missed a step and didn't even realize us, and that was a very quick turn by Quan. He attacked.
I thought that he was being attacked.
I thought he was being attacked as well, but that just shows how fast these players go that we completely missed those turn was.
They are so incredibly fast. There's a reason why we aren't playing today, Max.
Yep. And there we go. This is where Sue could win the game. Quan is about to draw 6 cards, however, and gain 6 cores. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if that is an absolute ice shield in the burst, it could be very bad here for Sue.
Oh, yeah, it's a lot of cards in Quan's hand now.
We are going for the deadly balance, so that will destroy Sue's last blocker on the field, and we will see how this game ends up.
If I was Quan, I'd probably be activating that absolute ice shield as probably in the second last attack, just so that he's able to get 2 cards rested.
Yes, definitely. If this Grand Underworld Trio Queen Maduke is able to swing, that life is going to go into the void instead of into the reserve. However, I think Quan has enough cores to not have to worry about losing one. We will see another spirit come down here, which is the when destroyed, you get to draw a card.
There we are. So just leaving himself with some more options if it is one of the absolute ice shields. We do know that Quan has drawn an absolute ice shield, so he will have that one in his thing.
He is choosing not to use the burst. Oh no, he will use the burst. And it is the altered absolute ice shield, which we love to see.
Not bad at all. He probably realised that as he went to go to choose to do it, that his opponent will know that he has an absolute ice shield there. So
Yes, definitely.
we do see another absolute ice shield in Quan's hand, so he will be able to survive another turn.
Yes, and we could see him develop a decent board set here. So this is the Mechanic Winged Duck. When one of your opponent's cards spouts it, you get to place a core from the void onto it.
Very good card. He's playing the 8-cost Mecha Beast Fortress, am I not correct?
That is the 8-cost Armored Dragon, I believe is its name, which has a very, very strong effect, which is if it's at its highest level, which is level 3, sorry, it needs 4 cores on it, which I believe we see 4 cores on it, Tyson. All of your spirits gain armor, red, purple, and white.
And that is an incredible skill. He does have an elk out as well. So he could actually go for the elk block with suppression to survive another turn as well.
So it looks like I probably see at least one swing here to try to get that absolute ice shield. No, we will not. We will just see the pass. And if Quan does not take any damage during this turn, Elk will burn 1, which means Sue will not be able to get the absolute ice shield's full effect, but we will be able to ice shield to just gain the 1 back off Elk.
And I'm sure at this stage in the game that Sue will know that he's able to activate absolute ice shield off of the burn.
It is still very valuable to get to force your opponent to only use absolute ice shield for its minimal effect rather than its full effect.
That's right. I believe there's 8 or 9 cards in Quan's hand as well.
If it looks like we are using Cursed Dragon, which will remove 1 from everything, so that will destroy the duck, and that will.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, that's not an absolute ice shield that we see there. That is the white. That is white burst effect. Counter sword.
Counter sword, yes.
Counter sword, which is triggered off a on-play effect being triggered, and you are able to return 1 of your opponent's spirits to the hand, and if you pay the cost, you are able to place a core from the void into life, which is what we see here from Quan.
Yeah, and that's definitely an incredible effect there.
We do have 4 attacks on the field here for Tsu. So it will be interesting to see whether he's able to get enough, but we will see just the block from the L.
Yeah, will we see a suppression? That's the real question there.
So there goes Tsu Spirit, but he will be able to draw a card to replace it. And we will just see the pass.
And he'll
And
burn a life.
there should be a life burn from here. However, we may be wrong as...
Oh, he did. He doesn't have the core on it. He's not level 2, I believe.
He did lose the core. That is why that we saw the Infernal King Dragon come down
That's
there
right.
to remove that core. Are we going to see another Buffalo Bill come down here, which on block is able to bounce something back to hand?
Lovely. Big fan of Buffalo Bill.
Buffalo Bill. It's such a funny name for a card.
Buffalo Bill, bruh.
They're just talking through what happened, I think, making sure that the life definitely was not meant to be burned, which is what we believe to be correct.
Yeah, definitely. Now, we are sort of staring down a very threatening board from Gordon here. And going into the castle, as I like to call it, he will start drawing a lot more cards off of that as well. So going from, having 8 cards in hand, he can go from having 8 to 13 cards, quite easily.
Yeah, we do see an attack come here.
Absolute Ice Shield popping out, as we see.
Absolute Ice Shield, paying for the Absolute Ice Shield as well. So that Armored Dragon was able to restand straight away.
And we do see another one of those knights coming out. So when it's KO'd, it will draw a card.
Yeah, we
and
did.
Another Blood Curse.
Yeah, that's the one that got bounced from the previous turn. But I would like to point out a really nice play that Quan made, which was with the Buffalo Bill. All your spirits with an on-block effect get that when attacking as well. So with Buffalo Bill being at its level 3, Quan was able to attack with the Armored Dragon and then restand it during its attack phase. And then it will be able to block and still refresh during the block step as well.
That's very good.
Which is very valuable here. We see a lot of cores on this spirit here. I'm not going to try and remember how to pronounce the Underworld Trio Queen, which is able to give all of Sue's spirits with Curse, Blood Curse, which is a very valuable effect to have.
I believe that all of Kun's cards here have the armor purple, red, and white. Am I wrong?
Yes, they all have armor purple, all have armor red, and all have armor white. You are correct.
Beautiful.
We will see the Buffalo Bill, and we'll just bounce that back to hand, and then we're going to see an attack here from the Camelot Knight, and we will draw off the Netherworld Depths. One here is just deciding whether to block. I would be unsurprised if we saw a block from the Elk here.
Definitely. And he should not be able to take a counter off of his Elk off of the Dragons, am I right? Because he does have the armor purple, red, and white.
No, you still are. The Dragons are able to remove the counters because they do not select them. They just choose...
Even when they're attacking?
Oh, sorry. When attacking would be a choice. So yes, they will not be able to remove the core.
And doing suppression there, no worries.
So it looks like we have the block here, suppression.
Going to try and burn that last life as well.
Having a little bit of a chat here.
I do believe that the Trio Queen does have the level 3 effect active.
Yes, it looks like it has its 6 cores, so it will be able to have its level 6 active, which is all of your spirits with Curse gain Blood Curse. I wonder what they're thinking about here. Looks like we are still in the flash step, and we are going to see a Deadly Balance come down. So we are going to destroy...
Will Deadly Balance actually work because of the armor purple, red, and white?
Looks like...
Because even though you're the one choosing, does your opponent choose the card? Oh, I guess not.
It looks like Quan Su is potentially just sacrificing his himself here, knowing that he doesn't have anything he can do, and thought, you know what, this will be kind of funny.
I guess so.
I am definitely a little bit confused by that play line here, but we will see how it plays out.
He has taken a life, so Alex's effect is not going to trigger, so he will be able to gain, or keep his 2 life.
So it looks like the Deadly Knight, the Camelot Knight, my apologies, has been destroyed, and we will have 3 attacks with 2 life left and a blocker available.
Now, we do see about 5 or 6 calls available on two side. We don't know what's in his hand, so we can't tell you if he does have an absolute ice shield and if he can block. But we do have the Pegasion come down from Korn.
It looks
And
like I'm...
another fortress.
Now, this does mean if Sue somehow has a way to remove Quan's first one, he does have to get through a second one as well. And this Buffalo Bill will mean that both of those A costs are allowed to attack, and they will restand during the attack step as well.
Which is incredible.
And we'll see the swing from the Persilone. We'll just get the block, and Persilone will die. And then we'll see the swing from the Buffalo Bill.
Yeah, my Buffalo Bill.
Looks like we have a core theft in hand, which will be able to remove enough cores. Oh no, we will just see the pass. I guess because it does have the armor, that there's nothing that Sue could do there. And that is game one of our top four. Quan is one game away from making to our finals with a chance of winning $10,000 today.
Definitely. You can really see the players having a great time, laughing with each other at the end of it. You know, it just goes to show that even though they are playing for such a large amount of money, they can always have fun with each other and just make it an enjoyable experience.
Yeah, they definitely are laughing over there. We can hear it a little bit from over here. We're just seeing them enjoying. And I found quite a movement to try and just scoop all of those large crystals back into the bowl there. It was quite enjoyable. We will see the sideboard cards coming in. I think that is 2 Star Blessed Jaws I see from Quan's side.
Potentially, yes.
Just a little bit more consistency for this fatigue matchup.
Definitely. We do see Itsu with the double Star Blessed Jaws in his hand, but will he add them? Maybe, maybe not. But that last game was quite interesting, seeing Tsu go from such a powerful position to Kwon being able to pull it back, especially with those Armored Knights or the Fortresses. Those were just an incredible card to put down.
Yeah, definitely those big armor dragons that look like a turtle. I don't know why it's armored dragon. It definitely looks like an armored turtle to me. The armored dragon ship Enterprise was able to give armor red, purple, and white to all of Quan's spirits, which essentially just secured him the game once he was able to get the first one down there.
Exactly.
And just that Buffalo Bill is a card we haven't seen, I don't think, in any other players' decks besides Quan. But this is the second time it has come up incredibly clutch for him in these matchups.
Definitely has. The Buffalo Bill has been a great card when we've seen Kwon play. I'm a massive fan of it myself.
Yeah, definitely. And we do see these players just quickly checking their sideboards before we get into this final game here.
All I've got to say is I've been a massive fan of white this entire tournament, and after wanting to play yellow, I think I want to play white now.
Yeah, white is definitely one of the coolest colors in the game at the moment, and I feel like we haven't seen too many white mirrors on stream.
I haven't seen any.
Yeah, which would be an incredibly painful matchup in some situations, but definitely happy to see these white versus purple matchups. And it seems like every time we've seen a white versus purple matchup, it has gone quite strongly one direction.
It has. It's never been a two-way sort of street here. You haven't gone. It's never gone 2-1. It's always just been a swift 2-0 from the either white or purple player. You don't get anything else.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if Sue is able to make those adjustments required to get himself a chance to get in the finals. And the other thing to note is we only have 36 minutes left, which isn't too long for them to play out 2 games, because that's what's going to need to happen for Sue to be able to get the victory here.
Yeah, essentially going halfway through time just for the one game is really, really hard on both of them. The shuffling is going to take a bit of time away as well, so we're going to see probably about a 35-minute start here, which will leave them with just, obviously 35 minutes to go. But hopefully they're able to play this game out and the third game, if there is one, with relative ease.
Yeah, definitely is going to be a tight one, not just on time, but just on game. These players are both extremely accomplished and have shown that over the last 2 days with some of their cards being extremely well chosen. Once again, we saw that Armored Dragon ship Enterprise from Quan be extremely strong that first game. So we'll see how well it pays off, as well as that Buffalo Bill.
Definitely love Buffalo Bill. I'm going to keep saying I love him.
Yeah. So Quan did not mulligan, so he's able to draw that 5th card and is able to draw for turn as well.
Looks like Sue also didn't mulligan as well, so we will see them with both 6 cards in hand.
Yep, so we do see the Dark Overlord Underlord 7 come down, and then the Pegasus come down as well, which is a pattern in turn 1 plays for both decks.
And you know what? It is the box topper, Pegasus.
It is the box stopper indeed. We see the Dark Lance Cavalier come down, which means Sue's able to draw a card. And we're just moving our cores around a little bit.
You know, I believe that Sue is probably going to try and go for a more aggressive round here, knowing that his opponent is going to be able to build up that board later on in the game.
Yeah, definitely. It is quite a strong strategy. Purple being able to go relatively wide, especially with all these spirits that draw cards. And we will just see let's put everything on the Pegasus and pass, which is actually quite a strong play, because this Pegasus is now at level 2. Sorry, it's now at level 3, so it's got 7,000 BP, which is a lot stronger than either of the other two that Sue has on the field. So Sue will have to take a similar strategy if he wants either of these attacks to go through.
So this goes to 7,000 at level 3.
Yes, it does go to 7,000. You do need
That's
five cores on it to get it to level 3, but it is at 7,000. And it also has the secondary effect during your opponent's attack step. If this spirit has the soul core, which ours most certainly does, it can block your opponent's spirits with 2 or fewer cores on it while it's in rest mode.
Yeah, what an incredible effect. And he's basically just going to be able to kill every single guy that Sue attacks with. So he's probably going to have to go and attack with a smaller one first.
Yeah, so Sue's going to attack with a smaller one first, hoping to get the block down from Pegasus.
Wow.
But Quan does not want to block it, as he doesn't want Sue to get the free draw.
He's just allowing the damage to go through.
Very, very interesting. We'll see if we're going to see this last attack. We will just see the pass. Very interesting that Quan let that first attack through, but he must want all these cores for a big play, as we see a lot of 8 costs in Quan's hand at the moment.
He must have bricked. He's probably just being like, you know what, I probably lost this game. Let's just go for it.
We're going to see the Buffalo Bill come down.
Buffalo Bill, brother.
And we will see the pass. So Buffalo Bill has a really strong effect that when it blocks, it can bounce a cost 5 or less back to its opponent's hand. So it can essentially stop 2 attacks. And Buffalo Bill itself does have a lot of BP, with that being 3 cores, I believe, on the Buffalo Bill.
Yes, 3 cores.
3 cores on the Buffalo Bill, which means it's 5,000 BP, which is quite hard to deal with.
Now, so just having a look at what he wants to actually do with his turn here. We do see the Absolute Ice Shield, which is going to be put down into the burst area. Now, we don't know what Kun has in his burst area. It could be another one of those, the swords, I believe they're called.
The counter sword.
Counter sword, yes. He could have one of those in there, or his own Absolute Ice Shield, but we aren't aware of that just yet.
We will see some cores be placed down, and we do see this swing, and Buffalo Bill is just going to bounce the spirit that has attacked.
So did Buffalo Bill bounce the spirit that attacks, or can it bounce anything?
It can bounce anything, but Quan deciding to bounce the attacking spirit this time to be able, so it doesn't get its when destroyed effect. And it looks like Quan's going to go for the suppression, giving Buffalo Bill plus extra power to be able to attempt to bounce something back to hand.
So activating the Dream Bomb from hand just to bounce that Buffalo Bill back, so he's not going to have to actually kill the Buffalo Bill.
Yeah, so a little bit of a sequencing thing there, because we weren't in the block step yet. What was able to happen was to bounce the Buffalo Bill before Buffalo Bill got to block, so we couldn't return back to hand. And we do see Quan down to only 1 life remaining. It's not too much that he's able to do now. We do see another Absolute Ice Shield in his hand, but being on 1, you can only really activate that from your hand after you block with something.
Yeah, it is incredible that Quan has taken so much life. I'm not too sure what his game plan is here, but he obviously has something in mind.
Yeah, we will see the Elk come down here for 6, which is a very, very strong which is able to block and start the burn. But I think if we see even just 1 more spirit here, it could be rough for Quan. However, it looks like Quan has 5 cores on the Elk, or maybe 4, but he will be able to block with the Elk and then Absolute.
I believe that Tsu has the Bishop in hand as well as the Dragon, so if he's able to play them this turn, he will be able to win here.
We do only see 1 core on the Lancer, which can be used, as well as
he has 7 cores. He has what, 1, 2,
6 cores on in the backline.
He has
there.
9 cores available to him. He can kill his 2 characters, which is all he really needs to be able to win.
Yeah, so if we do have the Bishop and the Dragon here, the Bishop can go down to a cost of 4, so we will need 4 cores plus 1 to go on it, and then the dragon can go down to a cost of 5, which we will be able to use, but it doesn't look like Sue's going for that line of play today.
Now we can see Two putting on multiple calls on his cards. Now he will most likely block with the elk.
Get a draw here from Sue, and are we going to go for... So before, we're just going a bit through the reaction, making sure that we get the absolute ice shield trigger first before we're able to draw that card off Sue, but it was a quick and easy resolution there.
That's
And
right.
it looks like we are passing over to Quan's turn again to see whether he can survive another one. He is definitely on the back foot, but we do see some very strong cards in Quan's hand at the moment.
Now, I do wonder if Two was able to play those, the bishop and the dragon. I'm not too sure how the cost of those are actually working at the moment, but they probably just couldn't play it.
Yeah, I think it would have just been one core too short.
Which is unfortunate because that was definitely the winning move.
Yeah, we will see what Quan decides to do here. He has a lot of cores, but he doesn't have an ice shield in hand, which means if Sue's able to just go wider than Quan is able to block with, it will just be game over next turn.
Exactly. So next turn, he will have that extra core. So Sue will be able to drop the bishop and the dragon, which is pretty much game.
Definitely. We will, however, see the behemoth come down. This is the Armored Dragon Ship Enterprise, which does give all of Quan's spirits armor purple, armor red, and armor white. We'll see the bishop come down, which, remember, it doesn't select, and it looks like we're going to see this come down, and everything else will die. He has enough, and it remains, and we look like we're going to 2, 3. Looks like we're just going to see a swing here for game.
There we go, and that is game 2 taken. So we'll go to game 3 now, which is awesome because we've had an incredibly fast game 2. We went from 36 minutes to 28. So we had not an 8-minute game 2. So we're going to see an incredible game 3.
Yeah, definitely. And Sue here doing the exact line of play that you mentioned, Tyson, but just a turn later. And one of the best things about that is it does definitely counter this armor purple aspect that white does have to it, as Sue's doesn't select the cards, it is just removed from all of them.
So see, I mentioned that place. That means I should be up there with the best of them, Max. Maybe next time I'll come and I'll win the 10 grand.
No, that's all good, Tyson. I will sit here commentating and watch you lose in the first round.
Can't wait.
But we do see the players just shuffling up once again. It doesn't look like we're going to adjust our sideboards at all, and we will have this last intense game
Of top 4.
And we'll see who gets to go into the finals.
Alrighty, there we are. Both players are on their first hands and getting started.
So just a quick reminder of what these players have had to do to get here. We had 7 rounds of Swiss yesterday, and 5 rounds of Swiss yesterday with 2 rounds of Swiss this morning, and both of these players have won their top 8 game.
Definitely very hard games as well, especially going into the 6th and 7th round. And top 8 as well. You've got the top 8 players in the room, so you're going to have a tough time playing into them.
Yeah, definitely. We see the Assassin come down here, which when it has the Soul Core on it, when it attacks, is able to draw a card. And we will see the Mechanical Duck come down with the 4 cores on it. It doesn't get any, it gets to level 2, and I don't believe it is too strong at level 2, but it is just funny to see Mechanical Duck with 4 cores on it, isn't it, Tyson?
That is exactly right. Now we are going to see, ditching a pet Camelot Knight. Not too sure why there, but obviously there's a reason for it.
Yes, indeed. It's a bit of a, I think we have paid 1 for the Camelot Knight, and then we have removed it so it is cheaper to play by playing the core off it.
That must be why. Okay, yeah. So that's what I said. There's probably a reason for it. I'm just not saying it.
Yeah, so it was a very heads-up play, and that's what's one of the really cool things that you do see with these one-cost cards such as Camelot Knight is you're able to play them and place a core on them for free, and then you can spend that core off them, but you still get the cost reduction before the end, before they leave the field. So it essentially means that you get 1 free core extra for the turn.
That's right. And now we've seen in less than a minute, we've seen 3 turns pass.
These players definitely know what they're doing. Sue definitely wanting to go a little bit more aggressive here, and we will probably see the attack come down.
Now we're going to get drawn a card for the Assassin. Obviously not going to take Buffalo Bill block. No, he is sort of calculating. He's going to block a Buffalo Bill and return the Assassin to hand.
Yeah, which means we will not get the curse effect off, so Buffalo Bill will survive. And the other thing is, we didn't even mention, we just saw a deadly force from Quan destroying that Netherworld Depths that was played almost instantaneously after.
So yeah, we saw 3 turns happen in the space of less than a minute.
Yep, and we do see this armored dragon ship Enterprise come down as well as a burst effect, and we're going to see a pass. So this is the point where White's in a very commanding position if Su does not find his 2 combo pieces.
He does appear to have 2 of the A-Cost trio queens in the field, which is going to be a handy play, and another one of the assassins that he had bounced back to his hand. So he will be able to draw a new card and potentially go into the kid play that we had, the Bishop and the Dragon.
Yeah, definitely. This is one of those situations which is kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because if we block here with Buffalong Bill, Buffalong Bill will go from Curse. However, if we bounce it back, Su just gets to draw an extra card on the next turn.
And we do see that he does have the Bishop in his hand. So he just needs to draw into that Dragon, and that's it.
And we will see the same play as last turn, but this just means Su just gets a free draw every turn and doesn't have to worry about anything related to it.
Exactly. Lucky there's no combos in this game, because combos would have been crazy.
Definitely, indeed. But we will see one of the better cards come down here for Quan, which is the White Spirit, which is name, I keep forgetting, the Head Ice Maid Fuller, which means your opponent cannot remove your cores of the spirits of this spirit and the spirit with the Soul Core on it.
Yes, so now that combo of the Bishop and the Dragon isn't going to be as effective, as he will always have those 2 cards up to block with or attack with.
Yes, and because that we have this Armored Dragon down, they kind of protect each other, because the Fuller protects the Armored Dragon from removal of cores, and the Armored Dragon gives Fuller the protection from purple.
That's right. Now we are going to see a burst card placed down. I believe that was an absolute Ice Shield, but we do also have one from Kun. I believe that may also be an absolute Ice Shield, but I can be wrong. It could be the cannon.
It could most definitely be the cannon. We do see the Purple Smoke Valley come down, and we will see this assassin come down for the 3rd time now, and we'll probably see the attack, and it be bounced to hand, and Su just get a free draw.
And there we go. He knew what was happening.
Yeah.
Now, the good thing about actually returning it to hand is it means he's always forced to pay more cores. So he is getting a draw every turn, but the same thing would happen even if he didn't bounce it. So him forcing his opponent to replay it every single turn to spend more cores is a bit more of advantage to Kun.
Yes, most definitely. We do see that Purple Smoke Valley on Su's side just being another source of purple for that cost reduction. And additionally, it will allow Su to draw cards if he's ever able to remove the... Never mind, we're not going to talk about that because it just got Burning Forced.
Yep, exactly. Burning Force has been a really good card this specific game. And at this
We'll just see another Purple Smoke Valley come down. So now I can talk about Purple Smoke Valley. So if Su is ever able to reduce the number of counters, number of cores on one of Quan's spirits to then remove it from play, we will be able to see a draw from Suicide. But looks like we're going to see the Assassin get played, the Assassin draw a card. And Quan is not going to block and is just going to take it. And we will see. We're going to see the return of the Nexus and then return of the Assassin to hand again for another turn in a row. And that was with Dream Bomb as the burst effect there. And we'll see another burst effect come down. I don't know if you saw what that was, Tyson. I did not. Okay, well, we will just have to wait and see, just like Su will, to see what burst card that is.
I believe that is another of the Nexus killing card in his hand at the back. I forget the card's name, as usual.
All right, so we're seeing Elk to come down here, and this is a very harsh position for Su to be in. The only way for him to remove the Elk is for the combo, but that will only remove 2 of the 4 spirits in play.
Yeah, a very, very big lead to Corn here with the 4 cards on the field, especially with the card being able to not remove cores from either of them.
Yeah, definitely. At Su's position right now, it looks like Su just wants to get down these Nexuses to keep removing, and we've just seen a Burning Force come down, but it can't select anything, and Quan has reminded Su of that, and Su not trying to take it back. High sportsmanship, realize he's misplayed, and is going to keep playing on.
That's it. You could definitely have been looking at where Made's going to take that back, but he's decided, you know what, no, I'm not going to do that. We're in a very high situation game, and we want to make sure that we're playing to the best of our ability.
Definitely, and that could be a big misstep here because Su does not have enough cores unless he's willing to sacrifice his Dark Lancer to stop and get an absolute ice shield. So we'll see Buffalo Bill attack, and he has enough cores on it for its level 3 effects to get its when attacking, and we will see one come down, and no trigger happen here. We will see the Armor Dragon come down and gets the refresh during the attack step.
Is the card going to be an absolute ice shield? That's the real question. He does have a Dream Bomb in hand, though. That might be able to
We
help
will
him.
take it. We will
Yep.
show the absolute ice shield. We will get it back, and we will have the turn over to Sue.
We still have a very, very strong lead from Kun here. They both have, quite large hands, and but Kun with the board presence he has is going to be a bit of a harder one for him to follow up on.
Yeah, Sue's in a pretty rough spot with that Elk on field, and especially if we do see that to be an absolute ice shield in Kun's hand. So if he does take the damage, the absolute ice shield will be able to put him back to a higher life, which means Elk will be able to burn one of Sue's very last damage, and we will see that Elk lock come into effect.
Exactly, and that would also mean that Zu won't be able to actually use the burst effect off of Dream Bomb either if he sets it, because he's just going to be forced.
Definitely. We will see the Bishop come down, which will move all the markers besides one off of Elk and Buffalo Bill. And removing those markers off Elk means we will not see the burn today. And it looks like we're going to get the on-play effect from Starblast Draw, and we will pay these. He just wants to remove them. He's betting that there's an Infernal Dragon in Sue's hand, and he doesn't want Sue to get those extra cores.
There is one, so yeah,
he's playing these absolutely incredible games here. Placing that Starbirth Draw in just was nothing I would have ever guessed to happen here. And then removing your own spirits from play so your opponent gets less of an effect off one of their own cards is another incredible play here.
And just having the armor purple, red, and white. And we do see, I believe that's 2 absolute ice shields in Kun's hand. Both of them were alt hearts.
Man, this man has been extremely lucky with his pulls then. We're just double checking the Bishop. We will see a summon of a Dark Lancer
Cavalier?
Cavalier?
I believe so. Drawing a card.
Yep. So Sue's just trying to find some pieces here. 3 blockers on the field, only 2 life. If he's able to get another absolute ice shield into play, he will be able to use it. But we do need to see. I don't believe that was an absolute ice shield, though.
That was a Dream Bomb that he said.
So Dream Bomb is another super good one to use, though, off of those life taken, because you are able to bounce a Nexus as well as bounce one of your opponent's spirits if you pay the cost.
And I'm sure he will be able to pay the cost if he uses his call of his spirits. Because we're just sort of saying, yeah, he's going to swing in, draw a card off of the assassin. We're probably just saying, I won't block. Let's just do it. Try me.
So Kun going down to 1. That's extremely risky here. But we will see go back over to Kun, and he may just say, you know what, I'm going to see whether I can push for game here.
Exactly, and even still, if he's able to block, I think that's a Dream Bomb or a Cannon. Or
I think that was a Dream Bomb. I don't think it's going to do much here because he is on just that 1.
He can Buffalo Bill and return the Cavalier to hand, so he's only got 1 block. And there we go. Okay, it's another one there. More layers of protection.
Yep, so we will see this extremely rough position from Suyu to be in. Because of that protection of white that the Armor Dragon does have, we will be able to probably see game happen here. If not, it's going to be very difficult.
Not sure what happened there.
Yeah, a bit confused about what happened there, but that's okay. It could have just been the swing from the Armor Dragon, but and then just a quick restep.
Yes,
yeah,
most
cool.
likely.
And it looks like we're going to swing in, and we're going to see what that...
He does have the Burning Force in hand.
But the Burning Force won't be able to affect it because it does have Armor Red.
So, yeah, there's nothing really that Zu can do. He's going to take the life. He will have the... He also has Armor Red, White, and Purple, right? So he won't even be able to do the Dream Bomb.
So he won't be able to Dream Bomb, he won't be able to Deadly Clash, and... Just thinking whether there's effect, no effect, and we're going to swing in for game.
Do we have anything?
Just double checking his hand. That is game. And that is game between these 2 close friends. They're not even celebrating. They're just having a very small chat. I don't think they realize that their game is over.
Yeah. With Kun taking it 2-1, we had an incredible game. Game 1, we did see Kun go really, really hard into it. We didn't think that Zu was able to, even combat the deck. But he did show that coming into game 2, he was able to pressure Kun a lot. But in game 3, Kun just had everything he needed. So.
Yeah, definitely. That was a very close close game, and we did see a 2-1 finish, which is something
Yes.
we were excited to have happen. So we will have Kun advancing to the finals, where he has a chance to compete for $10,000.
Definitely, big congrats to him. And even though if he doesn't win, he's still making a lot of money here with what is it, a minimum of $5,000 or $6,000.
$6,000 for second place. So he has come all the way to Australia for an amazing reward.
Exactly, and the price that would be for airfares, this amount of money will have just paid for it completely. So absolute amazing work to Kwon and even Sue as well. They've done a brilliant job making it a top 8.
Yeah, so top 4 still gets $3,000 each. So Sue has also made his money's worth for this trip. We will try to get a player interview for our top 4 winner.
Yeah. We definitely aren't able to grab a top player interview, we've just been told, but that's okay. We'll get one for the finals.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have some interviews for you at the finals, but we'll take a short break now while we wait for the other top 4 match to conclude, and we will see you guys for the finals very shortly.
Beautiful, thank you.